and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by fellow host Johnny Paulus.
Yo,
Johnny, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Feeling good. I got some more shopping done. I'm excited. Tomorrow, I'm getting my new power supply for my computer. I think I figured out why my computer's been crashing. And it's as soon as I narrowed it down to if I'm playing a modern game, like a brand new 2022 game, and it's like on the bleeding edge, actually pushing my video card to do things, the computer will crash. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes an hour, but it'll crash. And then when I Googled that error code and start going through Reddit, start going through forums, every single one of them is like, get a new power supply, get a new power supply, get a new power supply. So I got a 850 watt coming tomorrow. I am not looking forward to wiring it up, but I am looking forward to my computer to stop crashing every fucking 12 minutes when I'm the other really annoying thing is it really only does it when I'm streaming. It's the combination of gaming plus the encoding of the stream, all of those things together. My power supply just can't keep up.
So this is somewhat ironic, but I bought your old computer from you.
Yes.
And you'll remember that I had problems with it just fucking crashing and eating shit.
Yep.
All the time for a while. Problem? Power supply unit. So you actually have a history of making machines that end up with borked power supply units.
Yep.
So this is just, I guess, another one. So going for something I would suppose a little bit stronger than the current one.
Yes.
Well, that's good because
there's a handy, if anyone wants to build their own PC, there's a really cool power supply calculator on the internet. You can just Google, PC power supply calculator, and you go down the list. Like, I have this processor, I plan on overclocking, I have this kind of RAM, I have this many hard drives, this many monitors, whatever, this many USB peripherals, all of it, and it'll tell you the recommended wattage. Because a lot of people will go, well, you got to have a 1,200 watt power supply. Like, no, you don't. You really, really don't.
Yeah, 900 seems to be the magic number for me to have a little headspace.
Yep.
That I normally go with. I've built with a 700 before, but I think after that last experience, 900 is what I'm going to be sticking to moving forward.
Yeah, I did a 850, but when I read the reviews and such on it, the several people, and when they like rate these power supplies and review them and stuff, they go super nerd on it, where they'll like actually analyze the power load and stuff. And they said that this one actually tracks to be closer to 900 and still remains steady. So should be plenty.
Excellent. And I heard you had the easiest gig of all time this past weekend.
I did. I played Poorhouse Pub Friday, and it was real slow. And I finished my second set, went outside for my vape break, and one of the people that works there goes, so like you can wrap up if you want. We're pretty slow. Is that okay? I'm like, am I still getting paid the same amount? They're like, yeah, no, you'll still get paid. You just don't have to play the third set if you don't want to. I'm like, okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Why would I say no to that? Go home early and still get paid? Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely okay. I think I can handle that. But yeah, it was a good gig. Otherwise, the first set, there was a decent amount of people in there. We had some fun, but yeah, it petered out.
This past week, I've just been dealing with people in my house having the fucking plague.
Fun.
And I don't mean COVID-19. I just mean the good old-fashioned flu and sinus infections and ear infections. And holy shit, did I just sleep on the couch downstairs away from all of them. Basically the whole past week to avoid getting sick myself. Now, I do have a flu shot. And the little one who got the flu, of course, did not have the flu shot. So just a quick reminder to all you all listening, don't be a fucking idiot and go get your flu shot.
Yep.
Because the flu shot, get this, I heard it stops you from getting the flu.
It's pretty dope.
Which is pretty cool. And a lot of people have died from the flu this year. something like 5,000 people just from the regular ass flu. So don't be one of those people who ate shit and also didn't get their flu vaccine. Because if you get it and you die, at least when you get wherever you're going, the guy at the gates is going to be like, man, that fucking sucks. You went, you got your shot,
Yeah.
you were all prepared. All right, come on in. First one's on me. Versus if you get to the gates and you're the guy that didn't get the shot.
Yeah, and he's like, they're free, right? Like you can just make an appointment on CVS.com and just like go get it.
And they give them out everywhere. What are you, an idiot?
Yeah, everywhere.
Fine, I guess we'll let you in, but go grab a seat in the back. We'll get to you when we can. Fucking asshole. That's how I picture the afterlife, at least. They judge you for how great an effect Darwin had on the termination of your existence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to episode 95 of the Power Gamer Podcast. On this week's episode of the show, as we always do, we'll first start off by talking about the games that we've been playing this week. Johnny, flip a coin. Who goes first this week? I've lost track.
I don't know. I'll go first. I don't mind.
Take the initiative.
Sure. So obviously still playing Marvel Snap. There was a big update this past week where now there's a token shop where you can buy cards with points that you've earned in the game. And
just one important note.
Sure.
Is that you can only earn the tokens in the game, which I think is cool. You can't buy them.
Correct. Yeah, so but and they rewarded people that depending on their collector level, you got a bunch of bonus tokens already added to your inventory. And what's nice is every 6 or every 8 hours, there's one card on the shop, and it changes and it changes and it changes. I just bought She-Hulk. It was the most expensive one. 3,000 cost. But She-Hulk is a 6 cost, 10 power that costs less for the points that you did not spend the previous turn. So imagine turn 4, turn 4, you play a 2 cost and then pass.
Okay.
She's now 4, and you have a 4/10 turn 5. Or you could counter it up, make it a pretty beefy turn 6. My thought process was, in a death deck, you turn 5 your 3 cost or your 2 cost death, and then pass. And then next turn you have a 2 cost She-Hulk who's 10 plus whatever else you have. It's an interesting card.
You should play her with Sarah.
Yes.
And Infinite.
Yeah.
Because if you can get Sarah out turn 4, hold turn 5.
That's a good point. Then you could play and She-Hulk.
She-Hulk and Infinite on turn 6.
That's sick. Yeah, and then you're putting 30 out on the board with 2 cards.
And Johnny is making that deck right now.
I am.
Yeah, I'm fucking tactical in that game, man. I really think out every move, and I almost try to never misplay at this point. I've been working a lot with decks that require a lot of finesse and planning. My main deck right now, I bounce between a death deck, which isn't the hardest to do. But the deck that I've been cleaning shop with lately is a move deck, which is incredibly tough to use correctly.
Do you have Human Torch?
Yes.
It's the only reason why I haven't really tried move decks is I don't have Human Torch.
I don't think he's the strongest card in one. I think Craven is.
Okay.
Especially with the bar scenario right now where you get 4 cards. So what I'll do is turn 2, I'll throw Craven in there, get 4 of them, and then play Doctor Strange on a different space, moving 3 of them over and turning all 3 of them into fucking 12/12s on turn 3.
Yeah.
Then I'll throw Vulture in, Heimdall, and win.
Nice. I was experimenting with I got Cerebro this week, and Cerebro is a 3 cost that adds 2 power to your highest card. So the meta with this card is if you fill your entire deck with 2 powers or 3 powers, that Cerebro makes them all +2. And then you can Mysterio, and now they're all +4. The deck that I made with that, if you put Cerebro on Sinister London, where it makes 4 copies, or Sinister Bar rather, where it makes 4 copies, that Cerebro, I had like 12 power Nightcrawlers. Like it was nuts. But
I just had a really interesting idea.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of our core audience, I mean, some of them play,
yeah,
but a lot of them probably have no fucking clue what we're talking about.
that's very true. Yeah, we should probably move on.
We should, and we shouldn't. I just had a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit it with you while we're recording, because fuck it.
Okay.
Why not? It just came to me.
Hit me.
Why don't we still record our main podcast,
Yeah.
but do an additional, say,
Okay.
30-minute
Yeah.
weekly, bi-weekly podcast that's just Marvel Snap?
I'm down.
I think we can do it.
There's a lot of content on YouTube for Marvel Snap, and it's popping up. I think as far as content goes right now, Marvel Snap is being highly underutilized by content creators.
I love
And
that. The game is just so good.
Well, and the proof in that is last night I streamed Marvel Midnight Suns for, I don't know, 2 hours or so to 2 viewers, 3 viewers. And then my computer kept crashing. I was like, whatever, power supply's coming. I don't feel like dealing with this. I'm going to go switch to Marvel Snap. And like an hour later got rated by somebody rated with 68 people. And that just doesn't happen with other games. Like there are people that are dying for the content. So yeah, I'm down to try a separate Snap show. We need a catchy name though.
You'll think of it.
I will.
Your creative mind.
I'll come up with it. Anyway,
sorry. Go
we can
ahead.
move on. We can move on. Other games I'm playing this week: God of War Ragnarok. Oh my god, dude! Oh my god, the boss fight I just did today. I don't want to spoil anything, but I do.
Sorry. Can we call the show anything other than Oh Snap? God of War. My bad. I'm sorry. I
do want to give one mild, and I mean super mild spoiler for God of War Ragnarok. It's just a joke that I really enjoyed. I'm questing with Brock the dwarf, and he kills this giant wolf beast. He grabs him by the jaw and peels him open like a fucking banana. And Brock goes, "Well, that'll haunt my dreams." And it was really funny. Mike took his headphones off and is completely ignoring me. Okay, I'm done. You're good.
Done?
You can put the headphones back on. But no, God of War Ragnarok is it's God tier, pun intended. It's amazing. It's really good. I love it so far. I think it's probably going to end up being my choice for game of the year. But we'll get into those later. Also played on Mike's recommendation, Vampire Survivor. It is the stupidest, easiest game to play I've ever experienced, and it's very satisfying. If you have Game Pass, you should check it out. I think it's like $5 on Steam, if not. But literally the entire game is just instead of it being a twin stick shooter, it's a single stick shooter. You literally just control where your character goes, and your character auto attacks, and then you level up and change your weapons, and each one of them will give you a different direction of attack. So like it'll lob axes up in the air above you, or you're shooting whips to the left and right, or it's really, really interesting and super simple, easy to pick up, but strangely addictive. So it was a good recommendation on Mike's side. I know he already talked about this one. Also got a chance to mess around with Darktide. I played it for about 30 minutes. I got through the tutorial. It's a good looking game. The graphics are good. The lighting is great. The shooting feels satisfying, but I haven't really gotten far enough into it to really have like any kind of real input, but was something that I played. And lastly, my number one most anticipated game of the year, Marvel Midnight Suns, has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Firaxis, the creators of XCOM 2, one of my favorite games of all time, have made a Marvel game. And they've switched it up quite a bit. It doesn't feel like an XCOM game really much at all, and that's not a bad thing. It's really interesting the way that they've done it. So it's a turn-based strategy game with card dynamics. So each one of your characters in your team has their own deck, and you can go, well, I need more heals, so let me take this card out. I'll put another heal in. Okay, I need Captain Marvel to be more tanky. Let me put this card out, and I'll put the block card in. But what really surprised me is the amount of cinematics and character interactions that are in the game, which, in my opinion, has always been XCOM's weak point. XCOM, as you get further into it, it starts to feel more like a menu simulator because there's a lot of like, okay, let me go to the research thing. Okay, let me expand this. Okay, let me get these items. Okay, let me go upgrade my armor. And you're just like, really all you're doing is just navigating through these different menus and clicking on things that you want. But in this game, when you're not in the combat missions, it's third-person mode, and you can walk around and you can interact with the different characters. And there's like friendship meters for all the characters, so you can be like, hey, Captain Marvel, do you want to hang out? And you and Captain Marvel sit down and have a drink and shoot the shit. Your friendship level goes up, and as your friendship level goes up with different characters, they actually get different abilities. But I'm not far enough in it to have any kind of review score, but I will say that the difficulty ramped up nearly instantaneously. It went from, this is a walk in the park, nothing's really, to like, I had to redo the same mission 10 times until I got it. But honestly, it was my fault. It was my fault. I went out to battle without having a healer on my team. And then I was stuck in that decision, and I had to keep restarting. Finally got through it, but it's tough. It's a tough game, and I dig it. I'm happy that it's here. I'm going to be playing the absolute shit out of it until I beat it. But I'm stoked.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me in ways of Dragon Age a little bit. Kind of had that.
I could see that
look and vibe about it, and yeah, though still very much a XCOM game when you get to battle time, though. So
right.
Graphics on the character models, I have to say something because they look fucking horrible.
Well, I'm not going to go as far as horrible, but they definitely made a creative decision to Fortnite them.
No, this is not Fortnite.
It's like
no,
it's like a simplified.
No, it's not. But I get what you're saying that it's a design choice, but I don't want people to think that the game looks like Fortnite, which is a very distinct art style, because that's not it. But it does look like a 2000, like mid 2000s role playing game.
Well, and what's so strange about the graphics is that some of the graphics are stunning. When you're in a fight and there's a big explosion and the physics engine is doing its thing and there's shit flying everywhere and the shadows in the room when you cast a big spell, or the reflections in the pool of water when the bad guy shoots his laser. There's so many things in the game that look really, really, really good, but then it's so jarring when you're in these one-on-one interactions, and they look rough. They look
terrible, and I don't think it was an artistic decision. I just think Firaxis doesn't have any experience making close-up character models. They're used to making XCOM games, and they look like XCOM models that you've zoomed in on, and it looks really, really bad.
It looks pretty rough. Now,
I can get past it. However, I was surprised that that's a thing. Like, guys, it's 2022. Come on.
Yeah. Now, it is pretty jarring. Now, what is strange though is that they also developed Civilization 6, and that has amazing up close animation
Civ
models.
6 is very animated though. It's a cartoon art style. Which
but
really
they don't
works
look
for
janky like they do in Midnight Suns.
Yeah,
I mean, those characters look pretty cool.
It's rough. Like, it's on par with on-release Mass Effect Andromeda bad. Like, that's kind of where they're at. Rough. So, and which sucks because, like, the only reason I bring it up is, like, come on, how many Marvel games are we going to have where it's like we don't knock it out of the park with the most important part, which is the characters
presentation? Yeah,
you know, that's the most important part. We're not. The only reason anyone gives a flying fuck about this game is because it's Marvel. It's the same thing with the movies. Nobody was flocking to theaters to see Chris Evans. Fuck no. We wanted to see Captain America. So it's more about the characters themselves than it is anything else. So
now, and I will say that the character interactions and the conversations and shit, all of that is really well done. Like, the writing is good. It really is just the graphical presentation of
Fugly.
The characters.
Yeah,
it's rough. There's no other way around it.
Everything else about the game looks really solid, but I think some people are going to be turned off by that.
Yeah, I've already adjusted to it and accepted it. It is what it is. But the game is very fun, and I'm the moment this podcast is over, I'm going to go hop right back in. So,
well, I also played an embarrassing amount of Marvel Snap this past week. We'll talk on that, I guess, some other time. Other things that I played this week. Let's talk about the Oregon Trail. So this game came out mid-November. It's published by Gameloft. Now, most of you are sitting there thinking, Mike, Oregon Trail didn't come out this year. It came out fucking forever ago.
1984.
This is true. However, there's been a remake. Another one, yes. There's been tons of remakes of this game over the year. But this one is different. This one's very different. Because this one reeks of nothing but perfection. Absolute perfection. It's scary how perfect this game is. And for anyone who's ever played Oregon Trail in the past and had fun with it, which I think everyone did, who posted up in elementary school on the old computers playing it or whatever. Oregon Trail is a timeless game. It's great. It's just perfectly great. And now you can download it on Steam or you can get it on your Switch, the Oregon Trail. It's optimized for Steam Deck users. So if you have a Steam Deck, this is a great game to get.
Cool.
But I mean, honestly, just get it on the Switch. The Oregon Trail, this new published version by Gameloft, is just one of the most perfect games I've ever encountered in my entire life. The art style is exactly what it should be. There's a nice mix between like 16-bit era pixel art and 3D modeled scenes, like when you get to the different forts and things. The UI system for organizing your wagon and your party and taking care of it, it's just flawless top to bottom.
Wow.
I cannot find a single knock with this game, and I'm knee deep in it. And it gets even better than just like the regular Oregon Trail game, which is so much fun to play this new version of it. I mean, it's very deep, all the paths you can take. The hunting is exactly how you remember it being from the old games. But what's also cool is they do more. There's like scenarios that you can play through. And completing the scenarios unlocks things like a knife that you can use for having a higher success rate at skinning pelts the next time you do a run on the Oregon Trail. It has weekly challenges that are updated every week. So there's a lot of different things in this game to keep you coming back. There's a large codex and things, so collectibles and things that you can find. So it's not just, you know, the original game where you just jump in, name your characters, and go, and 10 minutes later you've either dead or made it, because that's kind of how the original was.
Yeah.
This one, my run of the Oregon Trail, I'm 4 hours in. I'm only halfway through. It's
awesome.
Mega. Like, it's awesome.
Sweet.
So I cannot recommend it strongly enough, and I feel like I need to, because it was a little disheartening to see that the Oregon Trail had a $30 price tag. I was like, what the fuck? $30 for the Oregon Trail? I made myself do it because I love that game so much. And I have to say, I mean, absolutely, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. There's so much meat on the bones there. So if you have any interest in the Oregon Trail and are looking for something to play on your Switch or on Steam or on your Steam Deck, immediately go purchase this game and start playing it. You will not regret it at all. So check out the Oregon Trail. I don't think I've ever endorsed a game that strongly before. So
no, and I remember when you linked the trailer for me in Twitch one night, you were like, "Oh my God, this is happening!" And you posted the link, and I watched the trailer. It looks great. I mean, it looks perfect. It looks perfect.
Yeah, I like to the icon from your home menu on Switch is the old green and black icon for
Nice.
the Oregon Trail.
Hell
So
yeah.
I give a little hat tip there to the original. Next up, I've continued my my death march through the Silent Hill series. I completed Silent Hill 2 for the first time this past week. I'm not sure whether to hate James or feel bad for him. Anyone who's played through the game knows what I mean. It's got a heavy fucking story behind it.
Yeah, it does.
And one of the thoughts, though, that I kept having while playing, I mean, the game's great. It's a 9-2 all day, every day. It's a timeless game. It's absolutely fantastic. But one of the thoughts that I kept having while I was playing it is, how in the fuck do you remake this? How do you do it? I don't understand how that game works in a modern context. I mean, unless like it's a complete rethink in a way like the Resident Evil 2, 3 remakes were. But then there's some elements to it where I'm just like, the weird camera angles are part of that game, like significantly part of that game. The fog, which you would never accept in a modern game, is a huge part of that game. The limited visibility is a huge part of that game. And there's a lot of content in it where I'm like, that shit wouldn't fly in 2022. So I'm curious to see how this is going to be. I mean, just think of the end boss fight. You know, flying around the room, and you're really fighting against James's inability to operate a gun in a swift way. And like, so like if you threw the game into like a third person, you know, Resident Evil 2 remake type thing, he'd be too fucking OP. So I just don't know how you make this game work. So
well, we will know soon enough.
We will know soon enough. I'm very interested in that. I almost feel like it has to just stay really true to the original in order for it to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, how the fuck are they going to pull off Eddie? How the fuck are they going to get it approved in Japan with the fucking nooses and shit? I don't know, man. I'm curious about this one. So Silent Hill 2, I completed it, and guess what I did next? I fired up ye old Silent Hill 3, which immediately is one of the most fucking intense Silent Hill game. It is the most intense Silent Hill game I've played so far. You have a woefully less amount of ammo. There's big fucking fuck you enemies all over the place. So you're doing a lot more running for your life in Silent Hill 3 right off the bat. I'm like, well, this is different. You're in constant like peril. You know, where Silent Hill 1 and 2 is more like there's a lingering fear of the unknown of what's coming. In Silent Hill 3, you were just being fucking terrorized the whole time.
Wow.
So I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice
awesome.
change of pace. And I finished the first section of the game, and I decided, you know what, I'm traveling this week for work. Let me just put it on a shelf because I got kind of to a definitive stopping point where, like, when I come back in a few days, I'll still know what the fuck's going on versus like stopping mid exploring a building and then trying to remember what the hell I was doing. So shelved Silent Hill 3 for the rest of the week. Very good. The graphics on it, I'm not trying to kick Marvel Sons in the dick here, but the character models in Silent Hill 3 look better. I mean, they're really incredible for PS2. I'm blown away by them. Enjoying Silent Hill 3. But now I've got the big 800-pound gorilla to address in the room. because this was a great week for video game releases. It was another really good week for video game releases. And in addition to Midnight Suns and the new Need for Speed game, which I can't wait to get my hands on.
Also looks awesome, yeah.
Callisto Protocol.
I've been looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this.
Callisto Protocol has come out to some very lukewarm reviews, which I've read top to bottom. I haven't just glanced at the number and gone, oh, okay. No, I've read through a lot of the reviews on it because a lot of the reviews on it are bad. I mean, 6 out of 10s from a major publication is pretty much saying this shit's garbage. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
You know, you have IGN giving out 10s like fucking candy at this point.
Yeah.
So I see a 6 out of 10 and I see it come from Game Informer. I'm concerned. But I've also learned to not pay attention to what a single person writing about a game thinks about it. Reading through the review on Game Informer was a little disheartening. Just upon reading the review itself, because they didn't give it a good review at all. They gave it a 6 out of 10. But the writer Wesley LeBlanc, who I normally agree with on a lot of things, gives it this horrible score. But you read his review and you're like, well, what really constituted that? You know, there's no real out of control
game breaking bugs or bad story or
right. You know, so I'm confused at this point, but I decide, you know what? I love horror games. I love everything Glenn Schofield's brought to us so far. I'm going to buy it day one and show them I support them and check this game out. So I'm playing through like the first section of the game right now. I've never seen graphics this good. I mean, they're fucking amazing. They look great. And the game runs like butter. The combat in it is holy fucking shit your pants. It's really intense. And it has an interesting mechanic where your dodging is done like one of the old, I think back to like one of the old EA Fight Night games, the old boxing games, which were really big on the 360, because it was one of the first games that used the sticks for swinging punches.
Yeah.
And this uses something kind of similar, where holding one of the sticks to the left or to the right is how you dodge other enemies' melee attacks. And you can combo your stick things to dodge multiple attacks in a row. It's really intuitive. It's really cool. And what's nice is it's not a timing thing. You can just hold the stick in a direction, and when the attack happens, then your guy moves. And so then you throw it in a different direction. Cool. So it's neat. I haven't really had that before. And it's good. And like the combat is fucking nice feeling. Like it feels good. It feels a lot better than Dead Space's melee combat. Dead Space sort of was like melee afterthought because you'd hit B and you just go, oh, like do a haymaker like over the head, and that was it for the melee. This game is like very melee is your shit. Like you fuck people up with
that's cool.
Things that you pick up, and you have guns, and you can like combo into like gun attacks and stuff. So story's interesting. Story's cool. You're like a smuggler or whatever. You've been wrongfully imprisoned because your ship was being boarded by bad guys, and you crashed on Callisto, and they're just like, fuck it, throw them in.
Yeah.
So story's good. It gets to the oh shit real quick.
Yeah.
Maybe too quick for some. I don't know, but I kind of like, not having a long drawn out thing when the goal is to scare the shit out of me. So
yeah, get to the point.
So I'm in the first part of the game and it feels pretty good. So I don't have anything bad to say about it yet.
Yeah, not feeling like a 6 out of 10 so far.
Well, it sure as shit doesn't look like one. I mean,
Yeah.
that's for sure. But to be fair, like I've read people say, like, okay, yeah, there's issues like with clipping and things like that. Okay, I'm keeping my eyes peeled for them. I haven't seen any of them yet. The main complaint people have about it is the thing that we knew about it coming into it, right? Which is people, like even in Wesley's review on Game Informer, he seems to be complaining that it feels too much like Dead Space. Guys, it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we all liked Back 4 Blood, right? I liked Back 4 Blood, other than the very last mission, which made me want to fucking blow my brains out.
Same.
But Back 4 Blood's good, even though it feels identical to Left 4 Dead, because it's the same people that made Left 4 Dead that said,
yep,
you know, things didn't work out where they were, and they moved on, and then they made the same game again. How is this any different? It's not. It's the exact same thing. And he's moved on, and he's made another game, and I'm sure it's better than Dead Space 3. You know?
Yeah.
Which he had nothing to do with, if my memory serves right. I don't get it. So I'm going to keep playing it. Should have a full review by next week. But right now it feels good, and I would say go pick it up. So
sweet.
Yep, that covers everything that we've been playing this week. Now it's time for some fun. The time of the year is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Are you ready to have advertisements crammed down your gullet while you watch a weird list of nominees duke it out for Game of the Year? Well, in just a few days, December 8th, we have our annual Jeff Keighley hosted The Game Awards. So I feel like this is a tradition now. Leading into the Game Awards, me and Johnny sit down. We go over the nominees for some categories that we can actually talk about. Sorry, fighting game fans, we're skipping that.
Yep.
In fact, if you're a fighting game fan and you've been with us for 95 episodes, God bless you. But we're gonna continue to dick you on.
When
the
are they going to
content
talk
that you
about
want.
Street Fighter? He's talking about F1 racing again.
Yeah. Get fucked, scrub. We're not going to talk about fighting games.
Nope.
But we are going to go over some of the categories that we actually care about and talk about the games nominated, talk about who we think should win, and talk about the weirdness of just some of the things that are even up for.
Well,
selection.
I also think that we should say what we would like to win and what we think is going to win, because I think those things are different.
And here's something else that we're going to do this year that's a little different.
Okay.
I'm going to write down the one that each of us wants and the one that each of us thinks, and then we're gonna look at it next week.
We'll tally it
when
up
we come back.
Okay.
So let's stop beating around the goddamn bush here and let's get into it. Let's go for the big dog first. Game
Hit the big one first.
of the year. Johnny, who are the nominees for Game of the Year?
The nominees for Game of the Year are A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
One of these things is not like the others. One of these things probably doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I guess let's start with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Look, I know this game has a rabid audience.
Yep. We're not in it.
But that's some tough company to be alongside.
It is. And I feel the same way about Plague Tale Requiem. I think both of those are completely out of the conversation, in my opinion. I would be shocked if either of them win.
I think a lot of people aren't as hard on Requiem as I was. And I do have to say, towards the end, the game really does get its shit together and gets rocking and rolling. But there were a lot of things that annoyed Mike Dawson in that game, which maybe should be specified.
So which one the game of the if the a game of year choice was up to you, which game would you choose?
Elden Ring.
Okay.
I mean, I think this year is going to suck for everything that isn't Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Because Elden Ring is just such a clear standout from everything else. I mean, Plague Tale is a sequel of a game that's very similar. God of War is a sequel of a game that's very similar. Horizon Forbidden West is a sequel of a game that's very similar. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a sequel of a game that's very similar. So the only two on there that are really something new. And Elden Ring, it calls back to Demon Souls and Dark Souls some, but it really doesn't at the same time. It brought in a lot of people that weren't interested in those games, Johnny Paulus included, and myself.
Yep.
So I don't think anything else has a fucking chance against Elden Ring. I'm a little torn here, right? Because I have Elden Ring rated as my best game of the year right now. I haven't played God of War Ragnarok yet, so I'll have to come back on that.
I say that's my choice.
But I want it to be Horizon Forbidden West. So, like, if I had to pick one for myself, I'm picking Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, see, your experience with Horizon Forbidden West was drastically different from mine. I enjoyed it, but I was not blown away by it like I was the first.
I loved every goddamn second of that game.
I thought it was okay.
Do I think it has a shot in hell of winning the Game of the Year at the Game Awards? No. I think it's Elden Ring all the way.
All right, so we both agree it's probably going to be Elden Ring, but we have our own choices of what we would like to see win.
And we have a consensus that we agree that it's Elden Ring. Yeah, I don't think... I could see Stray winning at the Game Awards just because of last year.
I could too.
I could see that happening. But that would be a massive slap in the face to Elden Ring.
I fully agree.
But knowing fucking video game awards, I feel like Stray has a shot. I think Stray has a better shot than Horizon Forbidden West of winning at the video game awards.
I don't disagree with that statement.
Best game direction. So this is interesting. So what is that? Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Johnny, who are the nominees for best game direction?
The nominees for best game direction are Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray.
Whew, I think this one's interesting, where it kind of flips on the head our last list. Creative vision and innovation. I think Immortality and Stray kind of come up as the two leading candidates for this.
I agree.
But I think...
Because they're both something drastically different.
I think one more so than the other.
Yeah.
Because Immortality is kind of like the dude's other game.
Yeah.
I think Stray is both the one that I want and the one that I think will win for best game direction.
I want God of War to win. I know I've kept it completely spoiler free. There are some moments, several moments in God of War where something happens graphically and I think to myself, how the fuck did they just do that? And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. It's so fucking gorgeous. The way that everything is done, there is a lot of innovation in God of War Ragnarok that I don't think it's getting enough credit for. A lot of people that kind of reviewed it in the middling numbers said, well, it's just like the last one. Dude, it's not just like the last one. I mean, I think there's a lot of really interesting shit that happens in God of War, and a lot of really fascinating graphical effects and stuff that I've never seen. Again, I'm having a real hard time keeping it spoiler free, and I'm looking forward to you and I having a God of War Ragnarok only episode in the future.
So who do you is that who you think will win at the Video Game Awards, or is that just who you
Yes.
want to?
That's what I think is going to win, and that's what. So I'm that's what I want to win, and it's what I think is going to win.
All right, so I'm doubled down on Stray, and you're doubled down on God of War Ragnarok for best game direction. Next up, best narrative. So this is outstanding storytelling and narrative developed in a game. Johnny, who are the nominees?
Nominees for best narrative is Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality.
It's a lot of the same games over and over, isn't it?
Yep.
So, outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. Are you still on God of War Ragnarok for this one, or is there another one that comes to mind?
Yeah. Yep.
Still with God of War Ragnarok.
Yep.
So, outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. Well, it sure as fuck ain't Elden Ring.
Agreed. I can't believe that Elden Ring is on this fucking list.
Sure as fuck.
No offense to all the Elden Ring stands at home and listening. If you can tell me that you think Elden Ring had the best narrative of the year, you have to keep in mind that understanding what the fuck happened in Elden Ring shouldn't involve reading a book, watching a YouTube video, and then going, oh, that doesn't count. You should be able to play the game and know what the fuck is happening. And I played, I don't know, 70, 80, 90 hours of Elden Ring. I have no fucking idea who I was, what I was doing, or why. None.
Yeah.
I ran around and killed shit, and then when I was done killing the last thing, I sat on the throne and the credits rolled. No, there is no narrative in that game as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know enough about Immortality to really bring them into the conversation.
I am intrigued by the concept of that game, though, and I could see that winning. While I would like God of War to win, I think Immortality's got a good shot on this one.
Yeah, I think here, I really like what Horizon Forbidden West did with the story carrying on Zero Dawn, which I still consider the best story in a video game ever. And Forbidden West carried that on and left off at a really smart place, setting up a sequel. That's just, I don't know that can be beat. So I have to go with Horizon. Just
so that's your choice if you were selecting it. Is that the one that you think is going to win?
No, but I would be a hypocrite if I picked anything other than Horizon, because I think the story is just fucking unshakable in that game.
I feel the same way about God of War. I'm going to double up on God of War. I want it to win, and I think it's going to win.
I don't think Horizon or God of War win in this category, and you're at a disadvantage here because you haven't played A Plague Tale Requiem,
and I haven't played Immortality.
And I can't talk to you about why Plague Tale Requiem is probably the clear winner for this category.
Okay.
But even though that game annoyed the fuckus out of me at times, how it picked up where Innocence left off and how it finishes is fucking incredible. Absolutely, just like I said, it 10 out of 10 stuck the landing at the end. Like they knocked it out of the goddamn park with the story in this game. And I think because it's something different that it will win. And I think this is maybe one of the only categories where Plague Tale can win. So I think it will win here. So best narrative, I want Horizon. I think Plague Tale. Johnny has once again doubled down on God of War.
Yep.
Next category is Best Art Direction. Johnny, who are the nominees for Best Art Direction?
Nominations for Best Art Direction is Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray.
So Scorn comes into the list finally.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a tougher one to talk about.
I think I see you and I quadrupling down on Elden Ring. I don't think you can argue the sheer breadth of character design, environment design, weapon design, armor design, everything in that world. As much as I've dunked on the narrative in that game, I have to give art direction to Elden Ring.
Elden Ring's not at the top of my list for art direction. I think the game looks great. But I also think it doesn't look great.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, we've talked on many occasions that, you know, I think the engine is a little disappointing.
Oh yeah, big time.
But I mean, I think in art direction and what they managed to do with it. I mean, the game's been out for almost a year, and people are still making slow-mo TikToks of fucking epic shit happening in Elden Ring.
Yeah, I don't think that's my pick for art direction. I kind of have a harder time with this one. I think Scorn is close to the top of that list. Because that's all Scorn has to offer is art direction. I think Stray is an interesting one for art direction. Because Stray is a very beautiful game, and it creates a lot of new things that never existed before between the robots and what were they called? The Zerks, right? Zerks?
Something like that. I don't know. It's been a while.
God of War is absolutely stunning. But I don't know.
It really
I don't know
is.
that it wins a best art direction. Forbidden West, stunning. But I don't know that it wins best art direction. So I think if I have to pick one that I want to win here, probably picking Stray as the one that I want to win. But if I have to pick who I think's going to win, I'm picking Scorn. How about you? This one's tough, isn't it?
It is tough. Yeah, I'm going to stick with my original choice. I'm going to double down on Elden Ring. I think it's going to win, and I kind of want it to win.
Johnny for Elden Ring.
I mean, just the monsters, the monster design alone, and just the fucking amount of monsters. I mean, that game has like 80 boss fights, and every one of them is fucking crazy looking. I mean, there's some amazing art design in that game. Period.
Yes.
So I'm going Elden Ring.
So our next category, best score. Johnny, who are the nominees for best score?
Nominees for best score is Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Now, here's one where I don't think anyone but Elden Ring's in the conversation.
I agree.
The original score for that game is amazing, and it's the first thing that you're greeted with when you come in to the game. You come into the menu, and there it goes. And the music in Elden Ring is some of the best I've heard in any video game ever.
Yeah. I think so. So were we both saying we want Elden Ring?
I definitely want Elden Ring to win. I don't know if I think it's going to win.
I think Metal Hellsinger's going to win because we've never seen anything like that where it has a heavy metal soundtrack with prominent metal artists giving new performances and new songs specifically for a video game. So I think Metal Hellsinger has a chance. I want Elden Ring to win. I think Metal Hellsinger might.
Yeah, if I have to pick who I think's going to win, I think that's going to be Xenoblade.
Okay.
That series has very good music, and JRPGs tend to clean up in that category at the Game Awards. I think Nier took it last year. So I think Xenoblade will win, but I also think it would be robbing Elden Ring when it does. Now for one of my favorite ones to talk about. Best, we'll say quote unquote, indie game. Johnny, who are the nominees for best indie title?
Nominees for best indie title is Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic.
And we have all these bases covered.
We've beaten every one of these.
I really liked Cult of the Lamb. Neon White looked amazing.
It was.
Sifu looks like it's fun to figure out. Stray was incredible, although short.
Yep.
And Tunic's the biggest piece of shit ever made.
I enjoyed Tunic. You fucking despised
that
it.
game.
I thought it was good. Man, this is. I will say this right now. This is the best lineup of indie games in a Game Awards I think I've ever seen. I think all 5 of these games are really good. I know you hated Tunic, but I thoroughly enjoyed all 5 of these. I have to give the upper hand to Sifu for one main reason. Out of all 5 of these games, beat, never touched again, Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Stray, and Tunic. Like, beat it and went, cool, might as well uninstall
Tunic you
that.
beat and say, thank God, and uninstall it immediately.
I have gone back to Sifu on multiple occasions and played it again and again and again. It is some of the best combat that I've ever experienced in a video game, ever. The combat system in that game is god tier. Once you get the hang of it, once you get the timing right, it is pretty fucking flawless. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's difficult. It does have that roguelike, you get to level 5 and you die and then you throw a controller across the room. It has all of those things. However, graphically, it's very unique. The combat style is very unique, and that's my choice. I think I want Sifu to win, but I think Neon White's going to win.
Interesting call.
And I know that's a strange call. I want Sifu to win. The reason why I think Neon White might is because that one, I think, took everybody by surprise. It was like we all saw the trailer and went, what is this? What are you doing? What's with the cards? How is this happening? And we've never had a game like Neon White, right? I mean, it's a first-person puzzle
card
speedrunner dating sim
with cards. Yeah.
I mean, that's like it's the best way I can describe it. I mean, the actual gameplay of the game is literally feels like you're speedrunning. I mean, it's like it is just there's a clear path, there's a way to do it, and you eventually find shortcuts and other ways to get around it. But mechanically, it's a very tight game. I thought the story was really fascinating, and the writing and the anime art style. I'm not big into anime, and I didn't butt heads with it at all. I loved the story. I loved the characters. I enjoyed every minute with that game.
And this is interesting. We're going to be very divided here.
I know. I'm sure you think Stray's going to win, and I think it probably will. But I'm still going to go with Neon White.
I'm not sure which one I liked better, Cult of the Lamb or Stray, because I really liked both of those games.
That's true.
I
really liked both
knocked
too.
Stray for being short, but hindsight, looking back at it, could it really have been any longer? I mean, it would have been nice if they brought some closure to the story or whatever. But did it just not overstay its welcome? Was it just the perfect length? I don't know.
I'm going to change my answer. I think Stray's going to win.
You think Stray's going to win? Yeah, I think Stray is a shoo-in to be the winner.
Well,
I think Stray and Tunic have the best chance at winning.
Right. Well, you got to look at it this way, right? All 5 of those games did well, are well reviewed. They're all strong contenders in this category. However, only one of them shows up in multiple other categories, and that is Stray. And that's why I think Stray is going to win. Stray is nominated for Game of the Year. Sifu isn't. Cult of the Lamb isn't. Stray
Right.
is.
And,
So it would be kind
which
of
is
weird
like
if,
Kenna Bridge of Spirits, where it was nominated as Game of the Year, but then it won Best Indie.
right.
So I think that Stray is going to win.
And is it your choice as well? Is it the one you want to win?
This is going to sound fucked up, but I almost want Tunic to win.
Why?
Because I fucking hate that game so
You really
much. I need to sit down and replay it and just see, like,
I wish I had the exact quote. You said something along the lines of, "This is the biggest piece of
I'm
shit
going to play all year.
that I've ever played in my
It
entire
wasn't my
life."
entire life. It's that I'm going to play this year. I've listened to the quote.
Yeah, that's what it was.
This is the biggest.
The biggest piece of shit I'm going to play this
Right.
whole year. Yep.
I almost feel like I need to go back and like touch it again, but I really fucking hated that game. I think I want, in my heart, I want Cult of the Lamb to win because that was just such a perfect game. I mean, I couldn't put that game down. I couldn't put that game down. It was just perfect.
Again, I enjoyed my time with all 5 of them, so I'm not going to be upset or mad about any of them. I know you'll fucking throw a chair if Tunic wins.
No, I'm expecting it to win, just to spite me. Best mobile game. Now, there's only one reason I put this in our show.
Yep.
And it's not because of Apex Legends Mobile. It's not because of Diablo Immortal. It's definitely not because of Genshin Impact. And I don't even know what the fuck Tower of Fantasy is.
Neither do I.
But Marvel Snap?
Marvel Snap, baby.
If anything besides Marvel Snap wins,
I will be pissed. Yep.
Jeff Keighley is getting canceled.
Yeah, no, I think we quadruple down on Marvel Snap. I think it's the one that we want to win, and I think it's the one that's going to win.
It goddamn better win.
Look, all I know is this. The other day I was messing around on my iPad, which I don't use very often, and I'm not really in the Apple ecosystem. But I was, while I had it in my hand, I said, I might as well install Snap on this just so when I've got it, it's there. So I go to the App Store. And, you know, right when you open the App Store, it's like top free apps, top paid apps. Marvel Snap was like number 2 on the free apps. Like, this game is fucking fire right now.
And it's really good.
And it's really fucking good. I think Marvel Snap's going to win, and I want Marvel.
It has to be Marvel Snap,
100%.
or I'm rioting. Next up, Best Action Game. Johnny, who are the nominees for Best Action Game?
Nominees for Best Action Game are Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
I think that Shredder's Revenge is a pity nomination.
I agree. I don't know why that's in there.
I think that's a pity nomination. I mean, the game's really, 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 really good.
Yeah, no, it's fine, but I mean, it's standing amongst titans in that list there.
Yeah, I think it's a pity nomination, and I don't think it will win.
I agree.
My first instinct is to look towards games that are nominated in other categories.
Yeah.
So I looked to Neon White, and I looked to Sifu. However, for just being the best action game, I both want and think that Bayonetta 3 is the winner.
I agree.
I think you can't fuck with that as an action game. I think that's the clear winner.
I want Sifu to win, but I think Bayonetta 3 is going to win.
Want Sifu thinks Bayonetta.
I mean, you can't make a game with the tightest combat system of all fucking time and not want it to win Best Action Game.
Yeah, if I had played Sifu yet, actually, I'm going to change my answer some, right? Because
you need to play Sifu, Mike. It's
a me kind of game, but I want Shredder's Revenge to win. I mean, honestly, if I had to want a game to win, it's definitely fucking Shredder's Revenge. But I think Bayonetta 3 is going to win.
Yep.
Next category, and I will say that historically, excluding last year, but historically, the winner of this category goes on to win Game of the Year. And that is the best action adventure game. So, Johnny, who are the nominees for best action adventure game?
Nominees for best action adventure is Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Tunic. Why the fuck is Tunic here? All right, whatever.
So remember what I was just saying, and that the Game of the Year now, I think this is a second year in a row where a game from this category doesn't win Game of the Year. I think it is. That being said, of the best action adventure games, I don't know how God of War Ragnarok doesn't win this.
I agree.
I think for action adventure, they'll definitely give that to God of War Ragnarok.
Well, and I think because Elden Ring is probably going to win Game of the Year, I think Ragnarok deserves some other accolades because it is fucking awesome.
Because I can see Horizon getting the narrative, right?
Yep.
And then God of War getting best action adventure. Like I think in the politics of the Game Awards, that's a likely outcome.
Yep.
So I do I think and want, or do I just think God of War? I think and want.
I think
want God of War to win that category. So we're in agreement once again.
Yep.
Next up, best RPG. So, Johnny, who are the nominees for best RPG?
Nominees for best RPG is Elden Ring, Live Alive, Pokemon Legend Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
So again, looking back to games that are twice nominated, right?
Yep.
Elden Ring and Xenoblade are both up for Game of the Year. So I don't think that Live Alive, Arceus, or Triangle Strategy have a shot in hell of winning.
And so when I saw Live Alive on this list, you know what my thought was?
You thought back to the episode where I described a segment of Live Alive to you?
And my fucking brain fell out of my ears? Yes. No, I think they need a new category now. There's so many remakes and remasters that exist in our world now that I think they just need to have a best remake category. Because I don't think a game that was released 20 fucking years ago gets remade should be on a Game Award.
Imagine if Chrono Trigger was remade and put on this list. Everything else is fucked. Because no one's not picking Chrono Trigger.
I think it's a weird, because let's face it, if we're going to talk about remakes, where's The Last of Us Part 1? I mean,
my highest rated game of the year. Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to include remakes in there, okay. A remake of one of the greatest video games of all time just came out. How is that not on any of these? So they should have a remake category, and the fact that they have Live Alive in this list and snubbed The Last of Us Part 1 is pretty frustrating. But
just a quick interjection though.
Yeah.
Live Alive, the Game Awards is an American award show. And Live Alive was never released in America.
Okay.
So it is new to us, even though it's an old game. So I can see it.
Okay, so maybe that's their curveball. I think this is an easy win for Elden Ring. I mean, it's.
I definitely want Elden Ring to win this.
I want Elden Ring to win, and I think it's going to win.
You ready for a curveball? I think Xenoblade 3 will win.
I could see that. If I had a gun held to my head and said pick a second one, I'd say Xenoblade.
I think Xenoblade will win. All right, you ready for for Deja Vu, Johnny Paulus?
Yep.
What are the most anticipated games of 2023?
Most anticipated games of 2023 category is Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Starfield, and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
I think Zelda should be fucking disqualified from this because this is the third year in a row it's been on this fucking list.
Has it already
It's won the past 2 years.
I think it's going to win again.
Definitely going to win again. I
think it's going to win again.
think that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to win again, but it should not. It should be disqualified. They should just say, "Look, you guys won it for 2 years. Fuck off."
Right.
You
Right.
were the most anticipated game 2 years ago when we found out about you. We don't need to keep having you on here.
Yeah.
So let's ignore that. We both think Zelda's going to win. Okay.
Yep.
Let's talk about who we want to win. And let's say that neither one of us can want Zelda to win. Okay?
Okay.
Is that fair? Because nobody gives a fuck about Zelda in terms of anticipation anymore. We want it. That's known. But of the other games here, Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Starfield, which one are you most anticipating?
Starfield.
Johnny down for Starfield.
And I gotta say, all 5 on this list, I'm fucking mega pumped for. I mean, I think Final Fantasy 16 looks outstanding. Everything we've seen from Hogwarts Legacy is looking like a day one purchase for me. Of course, Resident Evil 4 Remake is going to be great. But, it's been a long time since we've had a fresh, true Bethesda game.
I don't think there's any answer besides Starfield here. And I would actually like to think that Starfield can win this category over Zelda. Because the game looks amazing. It doesn't look just like, okay.
It does.
No.
Yeah.
It looks fucking amazing. And I cannot wait for this game. It's been my most anticipated game for this whole past year. It got delayed, unfortunately, into next year.
Yep.
I cannot wait for Starfield. That's all I want is Starfield. For the same reason that Mass Effect captured me in the mid-2000s, 20 years later, I think Starfield's going to do the same. Oh, that felt bad. I just said 20 years later when talking about Mass Effect because it's close to 20 years ago. It's like 16. Yep. That felt bad, man.
Yeah, Half-Life just had its 24th anniversary. That makes it. How fucking old do you think?
I remember us working in Guitar Center and talking about the first Mass Effect game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
We got old.
Absolutely.
Fuck.
Yeah. One quick shout out for the Video Game Awards. I hope you listened to this episode.
Sorry.
I hope you heard this in time. All right. Watch the Video Game Awards ceremony in Steam. Steam is going to give away one Steam Deck every minute for the entire fucking show. You have to register, so make sure you open Steam and you can search for the link or whatever. You have to register to win, but then you have to watch the Video Game Awards from within Steam, and they'll see that you're watching it, and once a minute, they're going to select a winner for a Steam Deck. Every minute, the whole show.
So the Game Awards is this Thursday. It's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do you want to get together for that and watch it?
I have a concert for my youngest. His first concert. Yeah.
That's kind of cool though. What's the concert?
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. He's playing flute.
I did not know he was playing flute. Look at this.
I mean, he's not really practicing.
So he's holding a flute.
He's holding a flute and making.
Lorelai did the same shit with a viola for years.
Yeah, I mean that was me with the violin. I played the violin for like 2-3 years.
Dude, you need to play some mean jazz flute.
Jazz flute.
All right, before we get any fucking older, it's time for the last segment of the show. Yeah, it's time for One Up.
Yep.
I'm all bummed about
my
Mass
my
Effect
one
being
my
that old.
my one up. I'm actually going to correct myself from last week's one up. Last week's one up, I raved about Andor and how they took the creator of Chernobyl to do Andor. That's wrong. That's wrong. It's not the guy from Chernobyl. The guy for Chernobyl is doing The Last of Us, which is where my wires got crossed. So just in case anybody listened to the last episode and was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Wanted to correct myself. So the showrunner for Andor was Tony Gilroy. Tony Gilroy was the screenplay writer of amazing movies such as Armageddon.
I don't want to miss a thing.
Jason, he wrote a bunch of the Jason Bourne movies. And he was also the writer for Rogue One, so that would explain why he was the showrunner for Andor. But sorry, Tony Gilroy was the showrunner for Andor, and he did not create Chernobyl. My bad.
My one up this week is man, I have to be on the road all this week. That's my one up. Yeah, I've got work travel all week.
Another road week, huh?
Got a week on the road, Johnny Paulus, and
what are you going to play on the Switch while you're out?
probably Oregon Trail.
Yeah,
that game's awesome. Probably a lot of Marvel Snap, and
same.
I have No Man's Sky installed on the laptop, so maybe I'll fiddle around with that. I did find. You remember on my last road trip, I found that the Xbox Cloud gaming actually works really well in hotels, so long as you stay in hotels that don't have shitty internet. So maybe I'll find something there. But yeah, for all this, the traveling gamers out there, my one up is, living in hotels for a week, because I'll be doing that not only this week, but also the week following. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, you got to rack up them Hilton points, though. Which, for my job this time of year, I have a manufacturer coming in tomorrow, so I've got to do that. And then the week after that, I'm making my holiday rounds of, hey, thanks for keeping us in business, and thanks for being awesome.
Here's some swag.
You know, different people like different things. So, like, some people get donuts, some people get pizza, some people get bourbon. When I come through the door at holiday time, no one's saying go away. They're saying, what'd you bring?
Yeah. What you got?
Yeah.
What you got?
And it's my way to go. Yeah. Here's my big thank you to you. Here's my updated list of manufacturers that I work with. And, at least for the next week, every time they eat a fucking cookie out of that box, I got to look at my business cards.
Yep.
But I do also like just to get out there and say thank you. It is the human element that so much of the world's business today lacks. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this week's episode of the Power Gamer Podcast. We might have a second podcast to talk about next. I mean, who the fuck knows? Johnny might think of a wittier name than Oh Snap, but I highly doubt it. I'd be interested to see.
What about Shiny Logo?
Shiny Logo. That's a good one too. Or what is it? Animated Frame.
Yeah, Animated Frame. It's not a good one.
Oh man, that'll be a great theme song once you figure that out.
Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate
we
it.
will be back again
next
week. With another great episode of the Power Gamer Podcast. Until then, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Paulus.
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch you on the flip flop.